Hey y'all, it's Renegade, and it's time to spill more Reali-Tea. Now in this video, we're going to continue our 2023 retrospective as I count down my top 10 favorite reality stars from last year. Now as always, reality TV is nothing without a fantastic cast, and this year we found ourselves surrounded by so many stars, both new breakout stars and some old nostalgic favorites. However, not every star shines as bright as the others, and these are my personal 10 favorites. But before we begin, just let you know that there will be some spoilers. Now, we're going to start out here first with 10 honorable mentions, personally because I found it very hard to have just 10 on my list. And also, before we get into it, please let me know what your personal top favorites are in the comments below. Now, to make things easy, all of my honorable mentions are actually from the same series, Big Brother Reindeer Games. And if this season had been longer, I guarantee all of these women would have ultimately ended up on the final countdown. And those three women are Danielle Reyes from Big Brother 3 and 7, Brittany Haynes from Big Brother 12 and 14, and Taylor Hale from Big Brother 24. Now, obviously this was a powerhouse comeback cast, and personally all three of these queens are legends. When we had Brittany and Danielle come back for the first time during the Time Laser during the Big Brother 25 premiere, that in itself was a joy for me because it had been so many years since I had seen them on our screens, so you can only imagine my excitement when I learned they would actually be playing in the Reindeer Games, which was really the selling point for me checking out the series to begin with. And while I was a recent fan of Taylor from 2022's BB24, I wouldn't say she was truly considered one of the greats to me, just based off of recency bias. But to be entirely honest, just getting to watch all three of these women play again, even if for just such a short period of time, just was a reminder for me why all of these women are just such stars to me. Danielle, the Black Widow, has such an amazing social strategy that's just so much fun to watch. Brittany is by far and away the best house guest I would say to ever grace the diary room in recent memory, and I really think Taylor cemented herself as a triple threat this season, so much to the point where I officially have added her to our pantheon of goddesses. Now again, if the series was longer and we had more time to spend with the women again, I probably would have ranked them a lot higher, but there I just feel like there's a lot of other stars I was able to get more of an arc or more time to get invested with, so that's why they're just honorable mentions here, but this list still would not have been complete without them here. Now to get into the official countdown, we're officially starting out with number 10, and that's going to be Jill Ashok from Outlast. Now, something you really need to know about me is I tend to really like controversial characters here and there, and oh my god, is Jill the epitome of controversy. I would be remiss to say this though, not have this woman on this list though, because she literally is Outlast. It's literally a recounting of her story. Although things kind of start out is a typical fashion here, and you kind of just think she's just going to be kind of, an abrasive alpha female on her team because she just has disagreements with pretty much everyone in her group. Later, she kind of shifts into becoming sort of like a mother and a team leader for her group, which is kind of funny because as the more her team finds her positive, the more it feels like she kind of redirects this negative energy to everybody else in the game. She infamously notes that this game has no rules, and it's her decision to turn the game up to turn the dial up to 11 by sabotaging all the other competitors that made the show so intriguing to watch. I never expected to see some of the things that Jill and her team did, and while I don't agree with them necessarily, I definitely didn't want them to stop. It's unfortunate that we kind of live in an age, though, where social media can be so toxic, because I know Jill has received a lot of hate when it comes to things, when personally I feel like it was such a boss move for her to realize how much power the game makers were giving the players by not having really a rule set there. So I personally wanted to give Jill a shout out, and that's why she's here starting our list off at number 10. Now, coming up at number 9, I have placed my personal favorite drag queen of the year, the one and only Sasha Colby from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15. Now, from the moment the cast was announced, I was personally really drawn to her in everything that she did, just because honestly her looks were sexy and polished, her dancing and her movements were just hypnotic and alluring, and although she's kind of considered a look queen, she has some really good comedic timing actually outside of that one stand-up challenge. We'll just not mention that though. Honestly, the truth is though, Sasha is a triple threat, and it's clear why the girls kind of felt why season 15 was turning into the Sasha Colby meet and greet, because she was just such a force in the competition. But for me personally, the whole package that tied everything together was the fact that she was just such a compassionate person and had such life experience that you could really just kind of feel that she just had so much love to give, and you could really see what her presence does in the community, and I think with the cast. And personally, for me, especially in the current political climate that we live in, it was very, very important to see a strong, powerful trans woman just really dominate things. So, that being said, not only did she break my list of top 10 drag queens of all time, but Sasha Colby will also be sitting here at number 9 on this list. Now, at number 8 comes someone I was not expecting to see on this list when this particular season first started, and that is financial analyst Emily Flippin from Survivor 45. She will be the only person from this season on this list. As I said in my last video, I did kind of have trouble connecting with the majority of the cast, and I do kind of still stand by that. But and Emily in particular, I did not like at all when this show first started. It was kind of hilarious though, because after let me redo that. However, after rewatching the premiere again and throughout the rest of the season as she began to evolve as a character, I found myself very invested in everything that she was doing. Mostly just because, although her delivery and her approach was kind of terrible, you know, at the start, she was basically voicing everything that I was thinking, just not necessarily in the way that I would have voiced it. But the fact that she was able to kind of, you know, turn her first impression from when she was with the Lulu Losers, and really just change herself to the point where she was able to convince Bruce to wholeheartedly trust her. And this is someone, again, that she called out on day one. So the fact that she was able to learn and to have the social grace by basically the end of the game to kind of flip people's perspectives of her on her head was just so much fun to watch. And while there was a part of me that really, really wished we saw the train wreck version of her that refused to adapt and just continued to just be randomly confrontational with everybody for no reason, I really respect her transition from, you know, likely to be the first boot to a real, truly endgame threat, who really only went out because she kind of outed herself for being too good, which is kind of ironic. So let's make sure Emily gets on second chances too, and so excited to have her here, number 8. Now at number 7, I have one of my favorite reality TV legends of all time, who made a surprise return at the end of the year, and that is Omarosa from House of Villains. Now, you can say what you want about Omarosa, but she knows exactly how to own her status as a villain. Now, I've been a fan of Omarosa from the original Apprentice, and honestly, to this day, I still kind of randomly ask my friends, what did you say about black people? You know, after her iconic pot kettle fight on that season, and let me tell you, she did not disappoint here at all. Now, I know she's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and I'm perfectly fine with that, but Omarosa, for me personally, knows how to make every moment about herself, and I live for it. I loved her random callback to her fake concussion in the first Apprentice, with all of the tamarine drama from this season, and personally, as someone who works in bodily injury claims, I just had to kind of sit back and laugh at her attempts to work the system, all the while it was being documented as part of the show. So, personally, I love Omarosa, and I'm so glad that she was part of the show, and she did not disappoint me whatsoever. Would love to put her a little bit higher, but there's a few other people that I think had my love a little bit more this year, but still wanted to give Omarosa a shout out as well too. That's why she's here at number 7. Now, number 6 is someone who I started out last year falling completely in love with, and that is Kate Chastain from The Traitors US Season 1. I've admitted, while I love reality TV, I don't tend to watch anything outside of just competition reality TV shows. So I'll be honest, I had never really gotten to like the Bravo scene, so I had no idea what the hell Below Deck was when this first started here. But honestly, after viewing her on the show, I will go back and binge every season that she's involved in, because Kate Chastain is an absolute gem. Now, I think you kind of probably see a trend to my list here being mostly women with these huge personalities, but as far as I see it, the ladies of 2023 brought it in full force, and that all started out with Kate. Now, I know the moment Kate had completely stolen my heart was when she started throwing those barrels of money away during that one mission, just because she was trying to get herself banished because she hated being in the game so much, but no one was able to get rid of her literally into the very, very end, despite her wanting to get rid of herself at every moment. So the storyline of having someone being trapped in the game beyond their will and hating every moment of it was probably one of my favorite storylines from The Traitors, and the reason why I personally have Kate at number 6. And who knows, we might see her return again this year, considering that she is on Traitors Season 2 currently at this time, and is already doing just an amazing iconic status already. So love you, Kate, and excited to see where you go next year. But this year, you're going to land just outside the top 5. Alright, so that brings us to our actual top 5, and that person is Miss Felicia Cannon from Big Brother 25. Now, one thing about Big Brother that has always kind of annoyed me has been their casting, and that we generally kind of have the same, like, hot, young 20-somethings. So when I saw the general older group that we got for last year's cast, I was immediately intrigued. We hadn't had someone over the age of 60 since Big Brother 10, which was, like, what, 13, 14 years ago at this point? And although I wasn't necessarily a huge Jerry fan, I did appreciate the drama that he brought. And oh my god, if we have learned anything from Felicia, it's that Big Brother needs to cast more older house guests, because Felicia was one of the most amazing things that had come for me this summer. No, I won't lie. Her strategic decisions did piss me off, because it may or may not have ruined the game of not only herself, but for pretty much everybody she was aligned with, which is everybody who I was rooting for. But, you know, when you have someone as quotable as Miss Felicia, can you really hold it against her here? From her random grocery list to Mr. B, full of like 8 different types of cheeses, or her high-quality tea bags that she needed, to her murdering countless microphones by dropping them in the toilet the first week, to her waking up the house guests by randomly singing in her sleep. Honestly, I found her to be just such a joy and such a light for this season. She just had so many intentionally funny moments that she brought to the table, and every single time that she was almost eliminated, I just remember being on the edge of my seat, being like, "No, don't get rid of her," even though she was ruining everything for everybody. I'm like, "Don't, please, don't get rid of her," because she was literally, for me, the life of the party. I remember her. So, bleh. So ultimately, as much as I hate the outcome of Big Brother 25, and I'm sad that Felicia is not going to have some amazing BFF with Suri later on in some podcasts, and I'm just so happy that we were able to have a full season of content from Miss Felicia here, and that's why I'm so happy to put her at number 5. So landing outside of our top 3 is the only male star that has made this list this year, and that is Yam Yam Oroto, winner of Survivor 44. My personal opinion, Yam Yam is my personal favorite winner of the new era. I think he's kind of tied with Marianne for me, although I would say D is probably a stronger player. Yam Yam, to me, just shines on screen, and was just such a joy to watch that I could not help but to root for him every second that he was there. He just had so much positivity and just exuded just a genuine personality. And he's also fucking hilarious. Like, I could literally just listen to him just speak for hours, because he's just so expressive and over top, just the way he speaks, that it just, you can't help but just want to just listen to every word. Now, granted, he did have a lot of strategic help with the Tika 3, so I don't know necessarily how he would have done by himself, but I think that just speaks to Yam Yam's social game, and the fact that it was just so good, and I really struggle to find anybody else who, really in the last 10 years or so, especially someone that is a new player to the game, that has that same sort of charisma that he has. He's just such a unique winner, and I would absolutely love to see him play again, so I'm hopefully hoping for another sort of like maybe all winners, or winners, runner-ups, legends, something like that, because Yam Yam needs to come back. Also, as a random side note, he may have recorded a shout-out video for me when one of my friends saw him at an amusement park, and he totally recorded me a video, which was really freaking cool, and ever since then, Yam Yam has been my hero, so Yam Yam, love you, so glad that you're here at number 4. Alright, y'all, we are here at our top 3, and taking the bronze is actually Jam Jam's Tika 3 ally, Carolyn Winger, also from Survivor 44. Now, oh my god, y'all, Carolyn was just such a breath of fresh air this year, and it was just so amazing to have someone from the org community representing us on the show in a positive light. You there, Colton. Anyway, much like Jam Jam, Carolyn is just a 1 in a million unique personality. Like, she's very much so an individual. You can tell that she has a lot of life experience that has really led her to this point, and although she comes off very eccentric, I also feel like she is also coming off as one of the most genuine individuals that the show's ever had. I also think she's one of the best listeners the show has ever had, too. It's kind of really unfortunate that her demeanor kind of allows her to be so underestimated, but she did have a strong role within the Tika 3, and the nuggets of information that Carolyn was able to get just out of like nonverbal cues and slight verbal conversations she had with people, just because they were so disarmed around her, definitely was something that was discounted by the rest of the cast. I'm very sort of still upset to this day that she did not get one vote at that final tribal council, but at the end of the day, what made Survivor 44 just such an enjoyable experience for me personally was Carolyn, as well as the rest of Tika's 3, and how they were able to kind of come together being so different, but having so many different strengths that made them such a great team. And personally for me, Carolyn is probably the backbone of the heart of the team, and that's why I really gravitated to Carolyn. Very excited because I pretty much know, I think it's pretty much known here that Carolyn will definitely be a lock for any future returning season, so I hope she has a chance to come back and officially earn her $1 million check. Alright, we only have 2 more left, y'all, and taking the silver is someone who pretty much on any other franchise who would probably just go down as an early boob. But when the show that you're talking about is House of Villains, and you were a star for every episode that you're in, then you deserve to be recognized for the head bitch in charge that you are. So everyone, please make room for Tiffany New York Pollard as the runner-up of the best reality TV stars of 2023. Now, much like Omarosa, New York is a legend in this industry, and she's been around since the early 2000s. If you've not seen Flavor of Love or I Love New York, you are missing out on some amazing TV. Even though I don't watch dating shows, these are like probably 2 or 3 of the 5 that I've ever watched in my life. So I definitely recommend go back and watch those if you have not already. But let me tell you, New York did not only understand the assignment of being on House of Villains, but she was attempting to get extra credit at every turn because she used every single moment she was on screen to her advantage. Her insults kept me cackling at every turn. They were so amazing, from her calling Jax a demon-possessed, calling Bananas a reptilian-looking mofo, calling Omarosa, for lack of a better word, genital-juggling Republican. Star, legend, icon, amazing. Now, not to mention one of my favorite moments of the year, and please be aware this moment is completely random, but it was when she convinced Corinne to make her a bowl of egg whites, and then had her put them on a plate because her OCD wouldn't allow her to eat from a saucer 2 nights in a row. Obsessed. And even though it's clear she didn't really come to play the actual game, she came to be Electric TV and remind us all why she is the true HBIC, and that is why the Queen, Miss Pollard, is here at number 2. The only reason she's not at number 1 is because there was one other queen that had to top this list. And number 1 does go to that legend. It should be no surprise because 2023 was the year of this one person in particular from start to finish, and that is Miss Cirie Fields. Now, while she started out the year as the best to never win, I think Cirie proved by the end of this year she will go down instead as just the best. I have been with Cirie for every step of her journey since she first appeared on Survivor Exile Island way back in 2006. Cirie fans know that she has never had just a traditional elimination from the game, so each and every time she gets so close but couldn't take the win, it's so painful and hard to watch. So seeing her start the year on the Traders, I could not help but kind of shake that she was going to get it taken all away from her at the end. But then, each episode goes by, she slips on over and over, and we see the game that she's playing, and wow, did we not just witness what was possibly the most perfect guide to how to be a trader in the game from Cirie. And that game secured her first ever reality TV victory, and honestly, the world has just felt so right since then. Now, to be fair, that would have been enough in itself to put Cirie at the top of this list, but then we got a second helping of Cirie on Big Brother 25, and that was even more magical, like the cherry on top of the sundae. Now, we had been wanting something like this to happen for years, and we have all known that Cirie has been petitioning to get on the show for years, so we were just so excited to see her have the chance. Now, little did we know it would turn out the way that it would, considering that she would go on with her son, and, it seems like maybe she didn't like the experience as much as we thought we would. Who would have ever thought that we would ever get a chance to actually watch her play a game on the live feeds? And seeing the game that she was playing was just so electric, and I know the Big Brother community had just kind of blown up since then. So, personally, for me, I wouldn't have changed any of that for the world, regardless of the ending being really unfortunate. Personally, for me, Sri will always be my favorite reality TV star of all time, and all I can say is 2023 belonged entirely to her. Queen, Mama, yes, God. Now, that's the list there. So what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Comment below with your favorite reality TV stars from 2023, and let's keep sipping on the reality tea, y'all. Until next time, this is Renegade, signing out.